An e-bike is a fun, efficient and healthy form of transport, and if you've got an e-cargo bike like this Turn here, then you can move all sorts of stuff, your kids, your friends, anything you like. That's not to say there can't be issues though. You may have seen how devastating an e-bike battery fire can be, and if you're carrying heavy loads that can mean broken components and even frames if the bike's not up to the job. In this video we're going to go through the things to look for when you're buying a new e-bike to make sure you're getting something that's safe and fit for purpose. And if you've already got an e-bike, we're going to be giving you some handy charging tips too, so stay tuned for those. Now before we delve into more detail, a few quick basics. It's always a good idea to get an e-bike from a reputable dealer who can look over the bike beforehand and can offer you an after-sales service to iron out any issues. Components can take a while to bed in and they often need a tweak to get things running just right. If you're looking into a bike's certification, then the rest of this video will be really handy, but also look into how thorough the testing is, who it is done by. Look for well-regarded standards, testing carried out by an independent body. With those in mind, let's look at the testing itself. Now we're going to be going through a load of numbers and standards and it can be a bit dry, but these things are really important for your e-bike's safety. So let's get into it. Firstly, every bike should be built to be roadworthy. ISO 4210 is the global standard for bicycles. It's not mandatory, but nearly all bikes will be built to pass it. Other standards build on top of that, and in the e-bike world, the main one to look for is EN 15194, which is the European standard for electrically assisted pedal cycles. Here in Europe, that means a bike that can assist you up to 25 kilometers an hour with a maximum continuous power of 250 watts. Now around the world, those numbers can be different, and the standard will be too. So if you're in another territory, it's a good idea to check what the rules are. Now, in terms of something like your average commuter bike that's not meant for carrying passengers or a whole lot of stuff, EN 15194 is quite comprehensive. It covers everything in the ISO bike standard, but it goes a lot further, looking at the performance and durability of both the mechanical and the electrical bits of an e-bike. If you look for a CE mark on the bike's frame in Europe, any bike bearing that mark will have been tested to this standard, and that's a good start. But it's not as far as you can go. And one of your main concerns might be, how safe is my battery? No doubt about it, a lithium battery fire is a pretty terrifying thing. Now you may have seen footage of an e-bike fire on the news and things escalate very, very quickly. And the number of fires is increasing. So why do the batteries catch fire? From a chemistry point of view, the answer is something called thermal runaway, where the temperature and the pressure within the lithium-ion cells suddenly increase and a flammable gas is formed which can ignite. The resulting fire is very hard to put out, and there are a lot of toxic fumes. The practical reasons for the fires are normally low-grade components, poor battery management, and poor quality control. If batteries use cells that are badly made or cells that are mismatched within the battery, that can cause thermal runaway and a fire. A charger that's not the right spec for the battery can also be the cause, and so can physical damage to the battery. So it's no surprise that cheap e-bikes and e-bike conversions that get heavy daily use are often the ones that end up in flames. The best way to protect yourself is to get a bike that's been independently certified. E-bike regulations around the world will cover the battery system to some extent, but the best standard to look for is one called UL 2849. That's a standard created by Underwriters Laboratories, which is a global leader in safety science, and it evaluates the entire bike electrical system. So that's the battery and the charger, of course, but also the motor and the display unit and all the cables and all the wiring. Everything's assessed for fire safety, but also electrical and mechanical safety. It's really the gold standard for e-bike systems. This Turn Quick Haul Long uses a Bosch cargo line motor, and all Bosch's motor systems are UL 2849 certified, so we're good here. Many other systems are certified too. The standards we've covered so far are pretty good for normal single rider e-bikes where the weight of the bike plus the rider isn't more than about 120 kilos, but it's more and more common to find bikes designed to carry much more than that. For example, this Turn Quick Haul Long is among the 3 bikes in Turn's range that are designed to be able to carry 2 kids on the back or a fully grown adult. And there are lots of bikes in the market with this kind of capacity or even bigger. And there have been some quite high profile recalls in the last few years where bikes designed to carry big loads haven't been up to the job. So how can you ensure that your bike is strong enough. Any respectable manufacturer will have conducted some kind of testing, of course. Check to see if the bike has a maximum gross vehicle weight, which is the weight of the bike and the rider and any cargo or passengers, and then check to see how it's been certified. It's not just the frame either. Bikes designed to carry heavy loads also need strong forks and wheels and powerful brakes. Check that those components on any bike are good quality before you buy. Like with the electrical system, there are independent standards you can look for. So for cargo bikes like this one, Tern takes the German cargo bike standard as its baseline. That's DIN 79010. That encompasses everything from structural integrity of the frame and fork to the critical components like the brakes and the wheels. It really is the testing standard to look for on any cargo bike, but in Tern's case, it's just a baseline. Tern works with EFBE, which is an independent testing lab, which puts these frames and forks through a series of stress tests that go even beyond the requirements of the standard. So I know that this bike has been tested and proven capable of handling that on the road. It's good to have that peace of mind if you're sticking your kids on your back or your mates. Lastly, let's run through a few tips on charging your e-bike safely. E-bike fires can be devastating, so it's good to take precaution. Firstly, you should never charge your e-bike in a corridor or anywhere else you might need to get past to evacuate if there's a fire. Charging away from living space in a shed or a garage is best, but if you're charging indoors, keep in mind that an e-bike with a reputable testing agency mark like the UL certified batteries and chargers here is your best option. Choose a well-ventilated room with no soft furnishings like a kitchen, and make sure you charge away from heat sources. Never attempt to charge your battery if you've damaged it, and only ever use the charger that came with the bike. If you can, charge during the day rather than at night, and don't leave the bike plugged in any longer than necessary. It's a good idea to keep an extinguisher nearby. A dry powder one is a good option. A bucket of sand is better than nothing. You should never ever try and put out a lithium battery fire with water, because lithium and water do not play nicely. So there you go, those are our top tips for the things to look for to get an e-bike that's safe and reliable, that'll be with you for years to come. Thanks for watching this. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. And if you've got any more comments on e-bike safety, put them below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.